Tonight is the night we've been waiting for. The Avs are going for the Stanley Cup at Ball Arena.
It's going to be great. I mean, you work all season long to try to get home ice advantage.
Ahead on 9 News Mornings, Denver police are talking to us about how they're preparing for the big crowds.
We can do this responsibly. We could do it safely.
Tivoli Brewing is getting ready for another party at the Quad, but they say get there early.
So we're expecting the biggest crowd that we've ever seen here out on the Quad.
And the story of one Avs fan who was actually banned from Ball Arena, but said it was all worth it.
You know, if he had to pick where his ashes went, you know, it's going to be that ice.
Just 13 hours until puck drop. We're talking all things Avs right now on 9 News Mornings.
It is in the building. It is here now. One of the oldest and most well-known trophies in all of sports. The Stanley Cup is going to be at Ball Arena tonight, waiting to see if the Avalanche can finish off the two-time defending champions.
And we know the whole town will be cheering on the Avs tonight, so throughout the hour, we want to see your Avs pride. Text us your pictures to 303-871-1491. Make sure to include your name so we can give you a shout-out.
And this morning, we also have some Avs trivia for you. Our very first question: who won the first Stanley Cup? Think about it. We're going to have the answer coming up in a few minutes.
All right.
Love that. All right, welcome. The whole gang is here to cheer on the Avs and to report a little news before that happens, I guess. And weather and traffic. Yeah. So the people out on the Quad tonight, they might have to take a rain jacket with them, huh?
Poncho?
You know, I think tough it out because I just feel like that's so inconvenient, right? Yeah. You're trying to celebrate and you have somebody with an umbrella next to you kind of poking you in the eye. I think maybe a poncho, maybe, or a hat.
See-through poncho, they're kind of cool these days. Yeah.
Find a burgundy one.
Just be considerate with the umbrellas if you're going to be out in those really highly populated areas today. But also through the rest of the afternoon, those showers will be pretty hit and miss. So we'll see scattered showers, isolated storms. Some of the storms that pop up could be a little stronger, mostly with those strong winds and locally heavy rainfall. But again, any sort of rain that comes is not going to be too long lasting. So I'm just going to put that out there if you do have those outdoor plans today. 64 degrees right now. We have light winds coming in from the west-southwest at around 8 miles per hour. Nothing happening over our HD Doppler radar at the moment. That green you're seeing is a flood watch. Is a flash flood watch that'll be in effect later this morning through the rest of the afternoon and evening. So outside of that, we do have one more warm day before cooler temperatures move in this weekend. We'll see those highs in the upper 80s, low 90s. Going to continue to watch for that moisture to just push through this afternoon and evening. Overnight, things start to clear out with highs in the upper 50s. And here is your Stanley Cup forecast. Man, I can't speak this morning. Around 4 o'clock pregame, we're looking at those temperatures in the upper 80s, maybe some scattered storms. They become more isolated by the time that puck drops. Temperatures in the low 80s, and then by the time we're celebrating, hopefully, fingers crossed, an Avs victory, we'll see clearing with those temperatures in the low 70s. I'll have your full 7-day forecast with more rain and cooler temperatures this weekend just ahead.
Lauren, thank you so much. We do want to start you out with a look at how things are moving at I-70 in Wadsworth. Such a quieter scene from yesterday. We had that closure from that overturned concrete truck for hours, but we are smooth sailing on the westbound and eastbound side here of the interstate and Wadsworth right now, and quiet across the metro. If you're getting ready to head out really anywhere, you're not going to run into any problems. So nice quiet start to the Friday morning commute. Both sides of 225 in the green. Your drive between I-70 and I-25 is only 10 minutes. So you've got, of course, the green light through that area. Looks like we're looking at a little bit of a slower drive on the eastbound side of I-70 right now between I-25 and 225, but not terrible. 12 minutes for your eastbound ride, 7 minutes right now for that westbound travel time.
If the Avs win tonight, no doubt it's going to be a party all over Denver. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall joins us live from Ball Arena. And Angeline, listen, Denver police are ready to handle any crowds that might get out of hand.
Yeah, there's no doubt a lot of excitement leading up to this game. And of course, I think there's just so many of us that want the Stanley Cup to be here, to be lifted at Ball Arena later tonight in just 13 hours or so. But with that being said, they want things to be celebrated if there is a win, but they just don't want it to get too out of hand. Now, back in 1996 and 2001, the last time that the Avs won the Stanley Cup, things did get out of control in downtown Denver, and that is what they are trying to avoid this year. Both times, thousands thousands of people took to the street and some lit large fires. Police responded with tear gas and chemical sprays. And earlier this week, Police Chief Paul Pazin urged fans to celebrate safely if the Avs win their third cup. Pazin said that there will be enough officers downtown if things do get out of control.
We are very much looking forward to tomorrow's game, but we remind folks not only to celebrate responsibly, but to celebrate in a lawful manner.
DPD has put stricter policies in place for when police officers are handling protests or out of control crowds. And there are stricter policies, for instance, when to use tear gas and whatnot, after multiple lawsuits were filed against DPD following the George Floyd protests. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit of things that change if something does go awry tonight. But again, hoping that isn't the case. Main takeaway from this is just make sure to celebrate safely and calmly. Even though maybe not too calmly, but calmly enough that things don't get out of control.
Yeah, we certainly don't want a repeat of that video that was being shown while you were talking, Angeline. Crazy video. So, like you said, celebrate responsibly. Angeline, thank you. RTD says that they'll be ready for the crowds. They're expanding the number of people that can get on light rails on the E and W lines by adding more cars. The last rides are scheduled for just before 2 a.m. They also encourage you to use their app to download your tickets so you don't have to wait in long lines to get those paper tickets.
Tivoli Brewing is prepared for another watch party. They're expecting the biggest crowd yet. Capacity is 10,000 people, and they think they're going to reach that pretty quickly.
What better way to celebrate Denver, our community, and our team than to come together on a Friday night and get to see our Avs win the Stanley Cup?
Gates open at 4 o'clock. Remember, it is standing room only, and you can't bring in any chairs or blankets.
Well, someone else who is ready to win the Stanley Cup, the coach, Jared Bednar. He says tonight the Avs will be playing the same way they have all season.
Our preparation, our breaking the game down into 5-minute increments so we're sharp and doing what we need to do to have success. That's our process for success so far this season. We're not going to change it now.
And Denver's mayor has declared today Burgundy and Blue Day. That's why I'm wearing my burgundy and blue,
Yes.
hoping for the team's very first Stanley Cup in 21 years.
I did say, Gary, you look so presidential today. And he's like, I was going for the Avs colors, but okay. There's one dedicated Avs fan who went to watch a game at Ball Arena this year and actually ended up getting banned for life. But he says the punishment was worth it for what he got to do there. 9 News reporter Jaleesa Irizarry talked to him.
Just outside of victory. After Game 4, that's where fans at the Ball Arena find themselves, close enough to touch what Ryan Clark physically can't.
We'll get a power play. Here comes another goal right here.
5 feet from his TV screen is as close as he's getting to the ball this year.
Oh, yeah.
10 miles may separate the diehard fan from catching Friday's Game 5 in person.
Oh.
But it's a bigger block that is keeping him at home.
The 20th of January rolls around and the letter shows up. and it was them banning me from Ball Arena for the remainder of the Avalanche season.
He can laugh about it now because he knows his friend and dedicated Avs fan Kyle Stark probably is too.
Thick as thieves, I guess is the best way they would put it, and then got that phone call that day, so.
Last December, Kyle's family called Ryan to tell him his best friend died. Kyle was 31 years old and a few days shy of celebrating Christmas with his family. His funeral was Avs themed. Ryan wore a jersey, Kyle's mom passed out pucks, and then took Ryan and Kyle's ashes to the game the next day.
At that point, I kind of looked at him and I'd like to get him on the ice. If he had to pick where his ashes went, it's going to be that ice.
Ryan sprinkled some of Kyle over the rink wall. Seconds later, a Zamboni did the rest.
Kid was like, hey man, what was that? I was like, well, I gotta be honest with you, that was my buddy Kyle. What do you mean? I said, well, he passed away and those were some of his ashes that I spread on the ice. And he was like, oh man. He's like, I totally understand that, but they want to talk to you up there.
Ryan accepted his fate, left the ball, and watched from afar as Kyle helped the Avs secure an overtime win against the Maple Leafs that day.
Passion is one thing, and the way he dealt with the Avs was beyond that. It was that much love for it. So it just, to me, the consequences were well worth every single bit of it.
Bands can't break bonds. Ryan has been able to watch every game this year, knowing his best friend isn't far away, and neither is victory.
Yeah! 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 Yes!
No one knows the Avs' fate this year, but one thing is for sure. They can count on Kyle for the assist.
Yes!
Oh, it's a tough situation.
Oh, what a great guy he is, though. Oh, my goodness.
Ryan described Kyle carrying the Avs team as the hockey version of Angels in the Outfield. He hopes the fans at Friday's game may get into the spirit and maybe start a Kyle chant at the arena.
That would be awesome.
I can see where they, don't want that to happen all the time, but nevertheless,
I'm not sure I
they should
agree
let
with
him.
the band.
They should let him go to the games.
Yeah.
I know.
I get rules are rules, but do you have to follow the letter of the law sometimes?
Right. Making an example out of him. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so at the top of the show, we asked you who won the very first Stanley Cup. The answer? The Montreal Canadiens. That was in 1915. They've also won the most Stanley Cups. I think it was 24 Stanley Cups when I looked.
The more you know.